questions for Coach? Oh, whoa.
It's a pretty good shot.
Was a home run.
How's Ashley Hughes doing, Coach?
Ashley's doing well. Yeah, she's swung the bat the last couple of days, and I think she's ready to go.
How do you, with Jenna has played so well in her spot, how do you go about either moving her down in the order or taking her out of the lineup? How difficult is that?
Well, no one said we're going to take her out of the lineup, but we're still kind of toying with what gives us the best opportunities, both offensively and defensively. So we're still kind of contemplating that. Guess you'll have to come to the game to find out what happens.
What kind of difficulties does it present when you play a team that, as we heard from Taylor, kind of goes for a full home run swing pretty much every time?
Well, I think you have to stick with your strengths, and I think, anytime you get into postseason, the first foremost thing is doing what you do well and make the opponents adjust to that. And if they adjust to that, then you have to make an adjustment. But I don't know. I'm hoping that her movement will give them some problems. But we definitely have a lot of respect for this team because we saw them a couple of years ago here, and I think their coaching staff does a really good job. But truthfully, right now, Arizona's going to come out and play the way we've been playing. Just trying to get prepared for their pitching staff and what kind of challenges that may present to us. But I think as a pitcher, Taylor is going to have to throw her game and then have to be able to make adjustments from one inning to the next.
Have you noticed anything different in Alyssa's demeanor considering the excitement of finally getting to play in postseason?
Well, I'm just happy I got her through practice, and we got to knock on wood, we'll get through today. But, yeah, I felt so bad for her, and I know how badly she wants to participate, and I think right now she's looking great and very excited. And if I was her, I'd be really excited too. So, yeah.
Has she been full bore at practice, or have you been holding her back a little bit?
No, she's been going full bore. Yeah.
Mike, what were your expectations with this team coming in?
Well, I think our expectations are always the same. We want to try to play our very best softball each time we take the field. And I knew coming in this team, number one, we'd have to replace some pretty good talent that we had last year. So therefore, I knew that we were going to be a little bit young, and I knew that it was going to be a process. And part of that process has been good at times and has been bad at times. But I think, if I look at us right now, hopefully they understand that there's definitely a sense of urgency that has to take place at this time of the year because there isn't any tomorrow. So I think they're ready. I hope they're ready.
At some point, did you think that it'd take more time than you thought it would take? Or because you had your ups and downs?
Each year kind of presents its own challenges. And so I think going in, I knew we had a good, strong nucleus of kids that got quite a bit of playing time last year and did well. And so I knew we had that. I knew we had, I think, Taylor coming back and another year older and a little more mature. So I felt like we had some of the pieces, and I think, Denham coming in definitely helped us because the rest of our pitching staff was very young. And then Aaliyah Creighton brought some stability into our outfield. I mean, the pieces kind of fell together. And, my biggest thing about this team has been preaching the whole year is that, we've got to play our very best softball all the time. And so I think we've made some strides mentally, emotionally, physically, and so you go into postseason and hope you've done everything that you can to get them prepared, and then, the game's going to take care of itself. You got to go out and play. And there's an opponent on the other side, and no matter who the opponent is at this time of the year, they're good. They're here for a reason. And so to me, I think it's just a challenge and a part of the process that we go through.
Anything else for Coach?
Well, I wanted to ask about the postseason in other conferences, the tournaments. During the Stanford series, there's a lot of talk on the airing about the Pac not
Well, I think it for all these years, the Pac-12, Pac-10, back in the day, we just never felt like we needed it because we played each other 3 times and played an even schedule, so we played everyone, and we felt like it was probably not in our best interest to have to do that again. But I think today's a different era. It depends on the reason why you're going to do it, and if it's if TV's going to get behind it and it's going to be a big event, um, then possibly I'm sure the Pac-12 may be looking at doing something like that. But uh, I know after this year, myself, the way the schedule was and how we finished, um, we could have probably benefited from having a tournament, and I think it probably benefits the people that are down towards the bottom to kind of move up the ranks with RPI than it does the people at the top. And so I think there's going to be some discussion, and I think I would definitely welcome it. You know, I think it'd be a great opportunity, and the reason why the SEC did it was to try to highlight their facilities each and every year. Well, you know, hopefully with the remodel of Hillenbrand and Oregon putting in a new facility, and that other schools are going to start putting some money back into softball and give us the facilities that I think the sport deserves, or our fans, because I think right now we're at a point now where the sport has grown in leaps and bounds number-wise, and people are drawing very well, and so I think now we have to look at the fans. How can we give the fans more amenities and make it more of a, you know, of a show like other sports? You know, there's a reason why people like to go to High Corbett, and you know, there's a reason why football is what it is and why basketball is what it is. You know, I think softball has an opportunity and a possibility of drawing well, and so I'm hoping now that the next step is going to be those fan amenities that will make the experience better for them. Obviously, shade is a no-brainer here for us. But I'm just very excited that Dave Hickey and our administration is moving forward with a project that I think will be a game changer for Arizona softball.
We're kind of getting nostalgic the other day about this being
Yeah.
the last time you're going to see it the way it is. Have you shared that with your team, kind of telling them now because we're hosting, we have an opportunity for a few more years?
Yeah, no, we did. We talked about that. In fact, one day I talked about where it all began. You know, the home plate used to be right behind us here, and the field was pointing out this way, and it was a rec field, and I'd have to wait for PE to get off the field so that I could get on the field. And then they handed me a 3-wheeler that I could drag the field with. You know, everyone thinks it's always been great, but, you know, we've had to climb the ladder too. And so then I remember the meeting with Bill Hillenbrand and getting the opportunity to build this beautiful facility. And in '93, it was the first of its kind in the country, and really gave us a big shot in the arm recruiting-wise. Been able to bring in some great athletes. So this is 25 years that we've been in this facility, and so now it's time to remodel. And I think the remodel will be a great way to make sure that this sport and this program is good for long term.
I know you're a sports fan outside of just softball. The same thing is kind of happening in Major League Baseball with the Diamondbacks have had a stadium for 20 years, the Rangers like 23, Braves. What do you think is the right time to maybe try something new? Like, what's a good year?
Well, I think I look at Yankee Stadium, and me personally hated to leave the old Yankee Stadium because I loved it. You walked in there, you got chills. You remember all the memories as a kid of watching Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and guys like that, and it took me a while to get used to the new stadium, but I know why they did it. You know, it's part of marketing the sport, and 25 years is a long time in one place without doing a lot. Although we have done some things, really the infrastructure of this stadium hasn't changed. And the big thing was the press box, and you know, with TV now, it's almost embarrassing that we don't have something a little better for all of you. And so I'm excited that that we have the vision to do something that I think will last for the next 20 years at least. But it's a lot easier to remodel than it is to rebuild. And this remodel is almost like rebuilding because we're doing everything from the dugouts back. It's going to be all brand new.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
All right.
Coach, you mind talking to Steve?